Hi, and welcome to our audiobook series brought to you by Burgapoly Publishing. Let the journey begin. Today we are presenting
Chapter 24, No Time to Waste. They landed next to the truck, stepping out to see the others already deep in work, hauling supplies up the ramp of the Eagle. Tom spotted them first, striding down the ramp. "Are you two all right?" John nodded, grabbing a box. "Yeah, we're fine." Ray appeared, descending just behind Tom. "We're almost done here." His voice carried a note of relief, but not ease. "Why don't you two see if Frank needs help packing the rest of the supplies from the kitchen?" Aras surveyed the organized chaos around them. "Looks like you have things handled," he told Ray. A pause, his voice took on a quieter weight. "I'm going to check on the others. Make sure they're ready." Ray nodded. "Got it." He reached into the back of the truck, lifting one of the last remaining boxes. Inside the kitchen, Frank moved in hurried frustration, muttering under his breath. "First they tell me not to pack everything," a clang of pans against metal. "Then they tell me to pack it all." Another rushed movement, another deep grumble. Wish they'd make up their damn minds. John and she stood just inside the doorway, watching with a moment of silent amusement. John cleared his throat. Frank jerked upward, nearly slamming his head into the edge of an open cupboard. For a brief second, his broad frame stiffened before he clutched his chest with one hand. A deep breath, a groan. "Man!" He shook his head, trying to regain his composure. His voice came out half laughing, half exasperated. "You almost gave me heart failure." She offered a small, apologetic smile. "Sorry to scare you, Mr. Frank. Mr. Ray sent us to help." Frank let out a low snort, shaking his head. "Oh, he did he?" His eyes scanned the cluttered space as if trying to remember what he had been about to do next. A muttered grumble followed. "I was supposed to have help earlier." Chi blinked. "We just got back." Frank waved a large hand dismissively. "Not you two." A pause, then a scowl. "Some of the other crew." John exchanged a glance with Chi, then turning back, "Where do you want us to start?" Frank let out a sigh, motioning toward a small stack of boxes. "Load those onto the cart outside and wheel them to the ship. Just set them in the galley. I'll deal with them later." A pause. "By the time you get those done, I should have this one packed." John and she nodded, moving quickly to load up the cart. The wheels squeaked under the weight as they rolled it out to the ship's ramp. There, they ran into Tom, coming down. He took one look at the cart's struggle against the incline and stepped forward. "Here, let me give you a hand." He moved behind the cart, bracing it with both hands. John and she exhaled in unison. "Thanks." The wheels groaned against the ramp. Chi grunted slightly. "This thing doesn't roll too well." They pushed upward, the cart fighting them every step. John glanced at Tom. "Are we leaving right away?" Tom nodded. "Yeah, looks like it." Then, Ray's voice. It carried that usual note of impatience. "You know where you're going with this? I thought they'd have all this loaded by now." John straightened, wiping the sweat off his brow. "Frank told us to leave these in the galley. He said he'd put them away later. Also mentioned the guys that were supposed to help him never showed." Ray let out a knowing huff. "Figures. They probably took off." Then, a sharp nod. "Come on, follow me." He led them further into the ship's cargo bay. "We need to store this as best we can before we take off. If we don't strap it down, it'll be flying all over the damn place. Frank's just going to have to sort it out later." John and she exchanged glances, then followed him deeper into the ship. The cargo bay loomed ahead. A vast chamber of industrial metal, layered in shadows and muted light. Ahead, a set of stairs led to the upper level, where a graded floor extended over part of the cargo hold. Above, a catwalk encircled the space, giving a full vantage point to anyone overseeing the loading process. Below, the thick metal plates covering the floor gleamed dully beneath the dim lights. They passed secured crates strapped tightly to the deck, while storage compartments stood closed along the walls, waiting. The air smelled of cool metal, faint oil, and the residual energy of a ship moments away from leaving. Ray moved without hesitation, stepping deeper into the hold. "Let's get this done." The last supplies would soon be aboard, and then they would be gone. The galley loomed ahead, tucked into the lower level. They pushed the cart through a short hallway, emerging into a room designed for stillness, for routine. It felt alien now, out of place against the urgency tightening around them. Two long tables stretched across the space, meant for meals, for conversations that now belonged to another lifetime. To the right, a stainless steel serving counter. Beyond that, the kitchen, Frank's domain. Ray's voice cut through the silence. Just set these boxes under the counter for now. They moved quickly, stacking the supplies and shoving the cart back toward the ramp. They heard a sound, something low, distant, wrong. Tom froze, his body going rigid. His voice was quiet yet edged with something close to fear. "What was that?" Ray stopped. His expression shifted instantly. His hand went to his blaster, pulling it free. "Don't tell me." John's stomach tightened. "What is it?" Then movement. Eras, running toward them, urgent, uncompromising. His voice was sharp and direct. "Is everyone on board?" Chi's response came fast. "Mr. Frank is still in the kitchen." Aris didn't hesitate. "Get the ship ready for takeoff." Ray's grip on his weapon tightened. "What's wrong?" Aris was already turning, already moving toward the kitchen. "The Clemillians must have tracked us here." No more words. Ray didn't waste a second. He sprinted to the wall-mounted controls, slamming his hand against the large red button. Above, the rafters rumbled, metal groaning as the roof panels slid back, retracting. Then, blaster fire. Closer now. Ray cursed, hitting the next control. The cage above them yawned open. "Come on, we don't have time." Ray's voice rang through the ship as he ran up the ramp. "Let's go. We have company." He was already halfway up the stairs, bounding toward the cockpit. Chaos ignited. Everyone snapped into motion, securing supplies and locking down loose cargo. Ray threw himself into the pilot's seat, hands flying over the control panel. Switches flipped. Engines hummed to life. The command console pulsed with light, a quiet storm ready to awaken. He grabbed the headset, slipping it over his ears and adjusting the mic. His voice came low, focused, cold with urgency. "Let me know the second Aris and Frank make it to the ship." Outside, Aris ran, gun in each hand. The Clemillians were already advancing. Fast, efficient, organized. Their lead soldiers fired first. Aris dropped, rolled, dodging the searing plasma bolts, then back on his feet, running. The mess hall loomed ahead. He dove through the doorway just as another round of fire streaked past him. Inside, return fire. Trying to reach the ship, 3 camp members ran across the open ground. The Clemillians spotted them and fired, forcing the humans to scatter. Plasma streaked through the thick air. 2 of the camp members dropped instantly. Smoke rose from their bodies. The third tried to run, weaving desperately through the open ground. He almost made it. Then, a shot. His body crumpled, motionless. Silence for half a second. Then Aris exhaled sharply, jaw tightening. His grip on his weapon shifted. This wasn't a fight anymore. It was a last stand. And if the ship wasn't ready, no one was leaving. "Frank, we need to go, now!" Aris's voice boomed through the mess hall, cutting through the rising chaos. Frank emerged from the kitchen doorway, arms full. Okay. Let me grab this last box." Aris's eyes bulged, his tone sharpened, edged with disbelief. "We really don't have time for that." Then fire. A blaster shot streaked into the room, searing past them. Frank's grip failed. The box hit the floor, utensils clattering, metal ringing against the tile. Frank stumbled backward into the kitchen. Aris dove behind him, rolling into cover. Another shot slammed into the floor where Frank had been standing. Frank, wide-eyed, breath heaving, crawled backward, then pivoted. Aris glared at him. "What are you doing?" Frank grunted, reaching out, not for his blaster, for a pan, a massive, well-worn frying pan. "I'm not leaving without my favorite pan." Aris stared, disbelief frozen on his face. Then, motion. Blaster fire shrieked past. Aris lunged, gripping Frank by the ankles. He hauled him back just as a bolt obliterated the tile where Frank's hand had been a split second before. Heat rippled through the air. Then silence. Frank exhaled, clutching the pan as if it were a relic of divine significance. Aris dragged him to his feet. No words, just urgency. Back door. We run for the ship. Frank nodded, panting. Then he turned. In one swift motion, he shoved a rack full of boxes over, sending them crashing down against the door. Here! Help me brace this! Aris growled but moved, wedging the metal frame against the entrance. The sound of Clemillian boots pounded from the hall. They turned, bolted for the back. Aris reached the exit first, throwing it open. He glanced back and gave Frank a nod. Then, they ran. They had almost reached the ship when the air behind them ignited. A hail of plasma blasts rained down. Aris whipped his head around, scanning. 3 smoldering bodies lay sprawled on the ground, human corpses. The Clemillians surged outside, weapons raised. They were seconds from being gunned down. Then, a bolt struck. Frank yelped. The pan, his beloved pan, went flying. The heated metal spun end over end, striking the bulkhead of the ship with a metallic clang before falling still. Frank let out a guttural, wounded groan. Aris didn't slow, didn't look back, didn't offer a word of sympathy. He grabbed Frank by the collar and yanked him up the ramp. No, you're not getting that damn pan. Max stood at the control panel, slamming his fist into the red button. The ramp began to rise even before they reached the top. He turned, grabbing hold of their shirts to pull them aboard. Blaster fire seared the edge of the ramp just as it sealed shut. Inside, chaos churned, voices shouting, engines rumbling. Aris pushed himself upright, breath ragged. Then one question, sharp, immediate. Where's Ray? He's already in the cockpit, waiting to take off. Max's voice carried no hesitation, no uncertainty. Aris didn't wait. He was already moving. He crossed the cargo bay in 3 long strides, boots slamming against metal. Up the stairs, through the upper level to the cockpit. Ray sat poised, hands already on the controls. Era slid into the co-pilot's seat without missing a beat. I'm here. Let's go. Ray's fingers tightened around the throttle, powering up for takeoff. Then, a muttered thought. I hope they got this thing fixed. He shoved the power lever forward.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this presentation, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss future audiobooks. You'll find links below to explore our books and grab official merch. We've also included some affiliate links to the tools we use to bring this project to life.